Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I got to give you another extension on this Shedeur Sanders controversy and him getting drafted in the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns. But I want to give you a comparison between Shedeur and Shilo, or Shilo and Shedeur, and I call it the fable being called the Tortoise and the Hare. And who is the hare or the tortoise? Well, the tortoise is Shilo. I think that Shilo has stayed under the radar. He's almost been he's like the second child to Shedeur, with the way Dion has promulgated Shedeur and talked about him throughout the entire 4 years that Shedeur has been in college, whether it was at Jackson State or Colorado. It was always a lot of fervor about Shedeur. But you didn't hear much about Shilo. You almost forgot that he had a second son on the team at Colorado. Everything was about Shedeur and, of course, Travis Hunter. But as far as it's concerned with the tortoise and the hare, I think that eventually, and it may come about real soon, that Shilo will probably end up having a better NFL career and a long-lasting one than Shedeur. And it makes you wonder, with the way Shedeur's stock dropped in the NFL draft, him going into the 5th round, was he set up to fail? There's been a lot of fervor about Shedeur's arrogance. You hear nothing about Shilo. Nothing negative. Matter of fact, at his first press conference for minicamp, many reporters commented that they really liked Shilo's composure and his intelligence and his respectfulness. People are worried about Shedeur with his arrogance, and him going in the 5th round. Was that really about Deion Sanders, or was it really about Shedeur and his ability to navigate the quarterback position? And so with even that comparison, you got to look at, well, Shilo he went undrafted. Shedeur went in the 5th round. So, of course, Shedeur was talked about for the last 2 years, way more than Shilo. Shilo played cornerback at Colorado, but you got to remember, Shilo was a highly recruited high school football player. He played at South Carolina first, then Jackson State, then Colorado. He's 6 feet tall. This is Shilo. Weighs 195 pounds, and they moved him from cornerback to safety. I don't think Shilo has the speed and to open up against top-notch wide receivers in the NFL and to go one-on-one with those guys. I think the Buccaneers moving him to safety is a great scenario for Shilo, and him staying under the radar, very little pressure on him. His name is not in the news media a lot. Is going to make a considerable difference. Shilo can concentrate 100% on trying to be the best pro that he can be and not get caught up in the outside noise from reporters and fans and people criticizing him. He can contain himself and stay within the framework of trying to become a good pro. Shedeur has all kind of noise around him. Is he arrogant? Is he going to listen? You got to remember, with Shilo and Shedeur, Shilo moved to safety. Shedeur is a quarterback, the toughest position in the NFL. You have to make a decision within 2 to 3 seconds. will he be capable of doing that? You also got to remember if Shedeur can maintain his fervor and do a great job at the position, if he gets enough reps, being a fifth rounder, it is not a bad deal. You got to remember, Tony Romo went in the fifth round. Tom Brady was the 199th pick. You got to remember that there have been several quarterbacks. Joe Montana, when he came out in the NFL draft from Notre Dame, he was not a high pick like a Dan Marino or a John Elway, and is considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So where you get picked does not make a difference. Remember, life is a journey. It's not a destination point. So just because Shedeur went in the fifth round does not mean he does not have a chance to make it in the NFL. But I think it's going to be a lot tougher on him than it will be for Shilo. And remember, Shilo went undrafted. So there's very little pressure, outside pressure on Shilo. All his pressure is going to be about making the team and doing the things necessary for him to be a skilled pro. Then you got to look at, is Shedeur set up for failure? They have like 4 other quarterbacks. You're talking about Joe Flacco, who's already there. You're talking about Kenny Pickett. You're talking about Dylan Gabriel, who went in the 3rd round, who got drafted before Shedeur. How many reps will he get? There's only going to be, they shortened the preseason schedule in NFL. You think it's only going to be 3 or 4 games. Where he's placed on that roster, will he get enough reps to even show if he can make it? Will he know the playbook? People have talked about Shedeur's athleticism and what he did on the field as a quarterback, but what is his brain like? Is he going to understand the complexities of the playbook? You look at an NFL quarterback's playbook, that thing looks like a dictionary. And as a quarterback, you have to know what everybody is doing on the field, from the guards to the tackles to the wide receivers to the running backs on offense. And don't forget, an NFL quarterback needs to know exactly what's going on the opposite side of the ball on defense. Shilo doesn't have to worry about all that. Shilo has to make his reads. He will be the semi-quarterback along with the middle linebacker, in a sense, on the defensive end. Hopefully he can get on the phone with John Lynch, who became an NFL Hall of Famer at safety and played with the Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl with Warren Sapp. They're about the same size. I think John Lynch can be a very inspirational mentor for Shilo. And like I said, I think the pressure's off of him. He just has to make the team and learn the playbook. That playbook is going to be considerably smaller than the one for Shedeur. So Shedeur is going to have a lot of outside noise that he's got to close off, and he's going to have to keep his face and his brain inside that playbook, that quarterback's playbook, and his reads, his sense of seeing the little open pockets are going to make a big difference. His ball release, his accuracy, it's going to make all the difference in the world. Going from each level, from high school, college to the pros, it's all about speed, size, and intelligence. Also, will Shilo be coachable? Remember, Shedeur, I'm sorry. Will Shedeur be coachable? He's been coached by his father and semi-coddled his entire life. So Shedeur is going through many different layers that are going to be brand new for him. This is the first time he's going to have an outside coach that's going to be criticizing him, that's going to be cussing at him, that's going to be getting in his butt about his mistakes. He won't be coddled like his father. I'm sure the temperament that they had with each other was more on a respect and a certain level with a father and a son and a coach and a player. But now all of that is out the window. His father being a black coach. Now he's going to have to take criticism from white coaches. Is that going to be an issue? Will race play an issue for Shedeur? And will that make a big difference? Will he have to humble himself throughout all of the criticism that he's going to get? It's going to be a real interesting play. There's a lot on Shedeur's plate that I don't think will necessarily be on Shiloh's plate. And when it comes to the tortoise and the hare, as I tell you, life is a journey and not a destination point. Shilo being able to have a slow burn, a slow simmering to having a great career and less pressure, I think that opens a door and a window for Shilo to be successful. Shedeur has all the eyeballs and all the spotlight on him. And if there's any jealousy from the NFL or the coordinators or the coaches, based on him being the son of Deion Sanders, Deion is going to have to stay out of the media. He cannot be doing any criticizing on how the Cleveland Browns are handling his son. That would be added pressure to Shedeur. Deion needs to stay quiet if he possibly can and let Shedeur try to navigate and build his way into a decent NFL quarterback. I think he's going to have an extremely tough road, and he may not even make the team. As I said, they have 3 or 4 quarterbacks on the roster that's ahead of Shedeur. Will he get enough reps? Like I say, there's Joe Flacco, there's Kenny Pickett, there's Dylan Gabriel, who went in the 3rd round, just to name a few. So how will this turn out? And remember, the hare out of this fable was Shedeur. He took off running fast, right? Life is a journey, not a destination point. Life is not a 100-yard dash. It is a marathon. So Shedeur started out in his life under the spotlight. Deion talked a lot about Shedeur, more so than Shilo. He was the hare. The tortoise is Shilo, who stayed under the radar and does not have as much pressure by the media, by outsiders looking in. And we know in that old fable that the tortoise ended up beating the hare in the marathon race of life. Tell me what you think. Do you think Shilo is going to have a better NFL career, or do you think Shedeur will? Shedeur may not last 5 years. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience.